Mr. Secretary, members of this subcommittee sent you letters seeking information on February 13th, February 28th, March 13th, March 20th, March 25th, April 1st, April 3rd, April 9th, April 10th, April 11th, April 28th, April 29th, May 28th, June 10th, June 11th, June 17th, June 22nd, and June 23rd, to which we have received no response from your agency whatsoever. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter these into the record, please.
Without objection.
Thank you. On June 16th, a federal judge ruled a large swath of NIH grant terminations illegal and void and vacated them, requiring that the grants resume. These grants deal with science that is disfavored by this administration, as we just heard from the witness. Judge William Young, a Reagan appointee, said that the administration's explanations for terminating the grants were, quote, bereft of reasoning virtually in their entirety, end quote. He added, quote, I've sat on this bench now for 40 years, and I've never seen government racial discrimination like this, end quote. Mr. Secretary, I have a yes or no question. Does the department intend to comply with Judge Young's ruling? Yes or no?
I will comply with
yes
the
or
law.
no, sir?
I'll comply with the law.
Thank you. As reported, in your opening statement, Mr. Secretary, you said that you're committed to reducing bureaucracy. But as reported in the Washington Post on April 17, 2025, HHS imposed a new layer of bureaucratic review by which every disbursement has to go through political appointments at HHS. Hospitals, universities, and community health organizations have told me and the other members lately that funds are stuck at HHS due to this so-called Defend the Spend initiative. I asked you about this in the April 23rd letter over 2 months ago, to which you have not responded, and I'd like some answers. Yes or no? Did HHS conduct a cost-benefit analysis on the Defend the Spend procedures?
I don't know anything about that Washington Post article.
In letters, you don't know whether you did a cost-benefit analysis, right?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that Washington Post article.
No, do you know anything about the Defend the Spend initiative?
About what?
The Defend the Spend initiative
No.
that your agency has. You don't know about it. Mr. Chairman, I have an article here dated April 17, 2025 about the Defend the Spend initiative. I'd like unanimous consent to enter it into the
Without objection.
Now, in Mr. Secretary, on June 9th, hundreds of NIH scientists sounded the alarm on how this administration has wasted millions of research dollars, injected politics into science, and damaged the public trust. 68 Nobel laureates signed this letter. On June 10th, we sent you a letter. Of course, we haven't gotten a response with our concerns that you or your staff might retaliate against them for telling the truth. So here's my question. Will you commit today that neither you or anyone else at HHS will take any retaliatory action against the brave scientists that work at NIH? This would be an easy answer because it's illegal.
I can commit that we are absolutely depoliticizing science at NIH.
Will you commit that you will not take any
Biden administration, Ms.
Excuse
Chairwoman, the Biden administration politicizes science, and I just
Okay,
gave you 3 of thousands of examples of how they did that.
Excuse me, sir. I asked you a simple question. Will you commit to not taking retaliatory action against the NIH scientists that signed the letter about the research dollars? Yes
I don't
or no?
know anything about that letter.
You don't know about the letter?
No,
okay.
I don't know anything about that letter. This is the first I've heard of it.
We already put that, our question in the record. I'd like a response. Now, in my last few minutes, in our letters dated February 28th, April 1st, and May 28th, to which you did not respond, we have some questions about reductions in force. How many HHS employees received RIF notices since you were sworn in?
I think around 10,000.
10,000. Did you personally approve those layoff decisions?
Of each one, I approved of the policy.
Thank you. You approved the policy. Your NIH director, Jay Bhattacharya, told employees, quote, I actually don't have any transparency into how those decisions were made, and I was quite upset about that. It would have been nice to have some say. I guess I'll follow up with more written questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The gentlelady yields.
What unfolded in this tense exchange between Congresswoman Diana DeGette and Secretary RFK Jr. is more than just political back and forth. It's a revealing window into how accountability can be dodged, how science can be sidelined, and how public trust slowly erodes when leaders refuse to answer the simplest questions. For months, DeGette and other lawmakers sent letter after letter, February, March, April, May, June, trying to get clarity from the Secretary's office. Not one response. That silence is not just bureaucratic delay. It sends a dangerous signal that elected representatives, and by extension the American people, can be ignored by the very officials whose salaries and agencies they fund. If government refuses to even answer oversight inquiries, how can citizens have confidence that decisions are being made fairly or transparently? The issue isn't abstract. A federal judge recently ruled that the termination of NIH grants was not only unlawful but also discriminatory, describing the administration's justification as bereft of reasoning. Think about that for a moment. Grants tied to real scientists, real research, potentially life-saving discoveries were cut off without proper reasoning. Behind every terminated grant are patients, families, and future cures that may now be delayed or lost altogether. When politics interferes with research funding, the cost is measured in lives, not just dollars. And when DeGette turned to the so-called Defend the Spend initiative, we saw another layer of concern. Money that should have gone quickly to hospitals, universities, and health organizations got bottled up in political reviews. Bureaucratic choke points dressed up as accountability end up delaying the very work meant to help communities. What makes this worse is the Secretary's denial of even knowing about the initiative, despite national coverage. When leaders claim ignorance of their own department's actions, it raises the question, are they truly uninformed, or are they refusing to take responsibility? Neither answer inspires trust. Then came the moment that cut to the heart of the matter: retaliation against scientists. Hundreds of NIH researchers, including 68 Nobel laureates, signed a letter warning that political interference was distorting science and wasting research dollars. These are not partisan voices. These are some of the greatest minds of our generation, united in saying the same thing: stop politicizing science. Yet when asked directly if he would promise not to retaliate against these scientists, the secretary ducked the question, claimed not to know about the letter, and refused to commit to what should have been the easiest answer of the day. That refusal should worry every one of us. Because when scientists, the very people we rely on for cures, vaccines, and breakthroughs, fear retaliation for speaking the truth, innovation dies in silence. Research depends on honesty. Progress depends on open debate. Retaliation poisons both. This is why oversight hearings matter. They are not just political theater. They are about whether leaders can be trusted to safeguard science, to respect the courts, and to uphold the public's right to transparency. When the answers are evasive, when the record shows silence instead of accountability, and when scientists feel threatened instead of supported, the consequences ripple far beyond one agency or one hearing. They touch every patient waiting for treatments, every family hoping for a cure, and every community relying on research to drive progress. The lesson here is stark. Democracy doesn't just fail when leaders abuse power, it fails when leaders refuse to answer, refuse to acknowledge, and refuse to protect those who speak truth to power. If you believe science should rise above politics and that accountability is not optional but essential, then moments like this deserve your attention. Don't let them pass quietly. Share this, talk about it, and demand more from those in charge. Because when science is silenced, the cost is borne by all of us.